G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an AUTOMATRON. This is a weapon that originated in Fallout 3's The Pit DLC, and was one of your main melee weapons that you'd use throughout the campaign therein. So, what you are looking at here, I think, is one of the most visually distinctive weapons that has ever been in the Fallout franchise. You'll never find anything quite like it anywhere else. So, at the back here, you've got this jury-rigged sort of chainsaw set up, and there's some chains to go for the motor here, but at the front you've got this really menacing, barbaric looking spinny death blade. And what you'll do when you use this weapon, just like in Fallout 3, is you'll hold down the trigger, this thing will start spinning, you hold out in front of you, anything that's unfortunate enough to be standing in front of you at that moment will be chopped to bits by a spinning whirly death blade. If you have the AUTOMATRON DLC, you can access this mod. It is a requirement because it is basically functionally identical and the same thing as a Mr. Handy Buzzblade, uses the same sounds and everything, which is a little bit disappointing. Back in Fallout 3, it had a really nice, crisp, and sort of, it was sort of brutal sounding, but I think it sounds a little bit too clean. It sounds like the motors are a little bit too small for this thing. I'll give you a sound demonstration in a second, but I reckon they could probably increase the sound, or just lower the pitch of it so it sounds a little bit cooler. That's just a nitpicky thing, because this thing does look great. And whilst we're on aesthetics, it's well known at this point that Fallout 76 Expeditions has been going to the pit, and they've teased an auto-axe weapon quite like this. The problem with the auto-axe in 76 is it's basically just a chainsaw, but with one of these things at the end. There's none of that sort of jury-rigged charm, because by law, I think one of the guys that gives you the auto-axe, one of the slaves that is sort of getting the weapons for the slave revolt, says they make these out of the car wrecks that they drag in for the city as they're smelting them down for steel and all that. So that's why it looks a little bit like this, but if it's just a chainsaw with a blade on it, I don't know, maybe it's because the 200-year difference, I don't know. Also, the one in Fallout 76 has a guard on the front like you would see on a drop saw, which is not aesthetic, because, you know, these things obviously are going to be used by slaves, and the slavers, they don't care if they lose a few fingers, they'll just find someone else to use the auto-axe or the steel saw as they would have with the slaves, because you can't get the good auto-axes from killing the slaves, because that would be too easy. So they've just got steel saws, and this has sort of been replicated here. You can use the steel saws, but they do bugger all damage, so don't use them. And with that, I think we're ready to get into attachments, and there's not really too much going on. You can change the blade a little bit. You can use the Mr. Handy Buzz blade here, which I think is kind of cool. You can electrify it, which will give you slightly more energy damage than heated, and no stun chance, unfortunately. Do keep in mind that it will require a fusion core, whilst the heated one doesn't, so you got to pay a fusion core for that 2 extra energy damage. I feel like that's worth it. Then you've got a radioactive and poisonous one, which is only ever going to be effective against humans, because basically all of the creatures in this game are immune to it, as well as radiation. You don't get a whole lot out of it, but I think the blade looks good when it's glowing green like that. Maybe we'll grab another one and put the irradiated stuff on it. And you can change the color of this. It's subtle. It still looks faded, so it's kind of cool. It'd be nice if you could put a pristine paint on it, but, you know, they went all pristine with the Fallout 76 variant, and it doesn't look so good. This one, I think, is a nice touch here. It's got the kill and you there, and a skull, and other things. I quite like that aesthetic, and the motor and the engine block or anything looks really ill-maintained too. And there's also orange. Yeah, you've already seen these. Let's just go with the Raider paint for this. And the legendary effect is there if you need it. Furious would be massive on this, but let's not get tempted by that. Alright, so I want to do a little bit of a comparison between weapons. So right now, the auto-axe is doing 236 and 25 ballistic and energy damage respectively. If we go over to the Mr. Handy Buzz Blade, 98 and 36, and the Ripper is only doing 137. So this is a cut above, no pun intended, everything else right now. So that's good. Oh, there's the fusion core you attached to it. It's right there. That's a good attention to detail. Also, man opener, here it is. We ignored damage resistance, so I put a radioactive thing on that because it looks cool. And we're going to leave it with the standard paint. No, we'll paint it red because it opens mans, and I guess womans as well. Could probably cut anything open with this. And there is also another one out there. It's called Molar, which is another one that you can get the Pit DLC. It's one of the really late unlocks that you get for doing the steel ingot farm. This one does more damage than the man opener and the standard auto-axe, and also has a little bit less AP use when you use it in VATS, so potentially potent there, but I ain't farming random encounters to get it. That's something you can get in your own time if you're interested. Alright, we'll get rid of these things, because they're worthless, and then we'll get started, I guess. You can get man opener from Arturo in Diamond City. 1400 caps later. Righto, so here we are outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza. Might be a little bit of an ask to get this thing going. If we see any MG42s, we're heading straight for Flashbang City here, because they'll chop me up real quick. Anyways, that's what it looks like in first person. If I start attacking this tire on the road, same sounds as a Mr. Handy Buzzblade, pretty good. And when you block with this thing, you can actually see quite well, which I think is funny, because with many bulky melee weapons you can't actually see when you block, so that's cool. And in third person, that's what this thing looks like, just like the Mr. Handy Buzzblade, which is kind of like a staff with a blade on the end. You'll hold it with a very straight sort of grip there. It's going down those little bits that are sort of welded onto the side there. And this is what the man opener looks like. It's red paint. It's also got the glowy blades on the front. You can see how fast these things attack if you feel like attacking something that's metal. Every time it throws a spark is when it'll attack. So we've got a couple of tricks up our sleeve here, because, fair reminder, in Fallout 4, melee doesn't suck, alright? So with that in mind, what we can do is utilize a thing called Blitz. And if I can find a worthy target that the game can pathfind to, I can chop them up real good. And with Big Leagues rank 4, you'll find that you'll attack everything that's in front of you. It's like, or anything that's immediately in front of you. It's like a 90-degree radius in front of you. You'll just attack it. And with that, if there's a bunch of people that are just sort of around, and they're standing close to each other, that's a MG42. We'll throw a flashbang there. There you go. That'll take you out of commission for a moment, give you a little bit of cover, and now I can attack you, I can attack you, and I can attack you. So it looks like I get 3 attacks, and I'm going to be using them like this most of the time. This is going to be huge. Look at that. That was a multi-kill right there. Nice. And with Grim Reaper's Sprint going for me, I can press VATS, and it's basically an instant win button. It really is something. I think it's time we bring the man opener out. And we've got rooted, so if we're standing still and we hit something with our melee weapons, and stop it right now. Yeah, that's what you get. If you hit something with a melee weapon and you're standing still, you can disarm them. I saw you. Oh, you're just a gunner conscript. Oh, bless your cotton socks. Worth mentioning that since this thing is an automatic melee weapon, if you went for a crit in VATS, it sort of turns into a power attack, and you'll lose basically most of the power that you get out of your melee weapon like that. So, yep, just be warned. And have we got anyone up here? Yes, we do. We'll take him. We're in Nerd Rage now, and that's a level up. That's a very timely level up, I think, because that's full health. I think we got this now. As long as you don't run into like 10 dudes with MG42s all at the same time without using VATS damage reduction. Nice. Flashbang out. We'll see about that, Gunner. I don't think we're actually seeing any of the any of the radiation damage actually trigger here, just because I'm killing them so fast with the damage. Come here. Let me give you a hug. Think of it as a toothbrush. I'll take your bloody head off with it. But your teeth will be clean, I'll tell you that much. And what else have we got? More dudes. Ah, MG42 guy. I'm going to confiscate that. There we go. Can't attack me with it now. We might be back into Nerd Rage again in just a second. Hey, put that down. I had to manually activate Nerd Rage just now. Great, now I'm almost dead again. How it's not very pleasant. And I think most of the dudes are around the back. I might be tempted to use a cheeky little stim pack here, because, you know, it'd be a major pace breaker if I died now and had to go back to recording this all over again. But You know, I like giving the folks at home a little bit of a sizzle, so what we'll do is we'll sneak and go away phone. Giving me notifications. There we go, there's Ninja. 10 times damage on that guy, and you've only got an assault rifle. No, that's a laser rifle. That's even worse for you. We'll chop you up, and you appear to be the last one. So when you crit, you just hit them like that. So not very effective. You can basically use these to save your crits because there's never a situation where you actually want to use it. And with that, we're done. That's their blood, not Tammie's. Tammie's fine. Look at her. She's smiling. Who gets shot with an MG42 full auto and smiles after it? Not someone who's almost dead, that's for sure. Alright, so what I want to do is try to execute a good sneak crit on at least a super mutant here. Just one. Well, that problem kind of took care of itself now, didn't it? Now, this time we're going to do it properly. Are you aggroed to me, my man? Hello? VATS? Yes, okay, you are. And you're also taking a little bit of damage. He ran into a band of Rust Devils here, but that's okay. We might be able to get a few sneaky hits on him before he figures out where we are. Just got to get into minimum blitz range. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Feel the power. That's 12 times multipliers there. It's even better. Thanks, Deacon. Turn and burn that ghoul. There's another one down there. That's it. You're dead, mate. We'll get him. You can sometimes get power attack finishes. I tried them earlier. It didn't seem to work out super well. They only work against humanoid things. The lobsters, they don't care so much. Get out of here. Lobster for dinner, everyone. And no ghouls allowed. No lobster for you. You get feces instead. Alright, so we've seen how good this thing works when in use of stealth, but what if we use it outside of stealth in a proper hand-to-hand fight? We'll start this fight off by just chopping him apart a little bit with VATS here, just so we get a little bit of protection whilst we're doing this. And now we're going to block basically as much as we can here. He's ran right past me. Gotta watch him. He's fast, this one. And that's almost me dead. Alright, I guess we'll just use this time to hit him in slow motion. Make sure he doesn't get any of these cheeky little backhands in. And whilst we're getting some staggers here, that's helpful. But if we've got him in range of death, I'm going to keep chopping at his face. And I'm going to go for a VATS kill here. We've got basically no health left at this point. But I'm going to try. Mysterious Stranger even shows up. I'm going to spam the block button because I've got no idea if he will attack me straight outside of VATS. Oh, so very close. He's dived right past me again. Ooh, another block. There we go. Got him. He's dead. Very close. How many hit points did I have left? 3. Can we recover that just by having a sip of seawater? We can. How much did we get out of that? We got 52 hit points now. I can take on the bloody world with that amount of health. And also, it started regenerating because we're out of combat now. And it is during night, so we're not even getting solar powered. Hey, I see a fly. We'll chop him. Take that. Alright, now my bloodlust is satiated. Let's do one more thing. Hey, look! It's Tears Freya from Fallout 76. I've got an auto axe. Would you like to try it out? Ow. Don't do that. This is a proper melee fight here. She's a tough cookie. But unfortunately, well, she's got a nasty stagger on her. She don't got VATS though. I got VATS. He's gonna try to finish me. He'll go for a power attack here. Never mind. Alright. That was a little bit closer than I thought it would be. Don't worry, Freya. We'll bring you back. We'll resurrect you next time, maybe. I wonder if I can chop her up. Nope, she's protected. Probably a good thing. Anyways, let's go pay Virgil a visit. Is he alive? Might be dead. Find out. Let's see who it is. Is it going to be... It is... Oh, he's in human form. Think I should leave. I think you should leave. I got Virgil's rifle.
Perfect.
Not perfect. It's pretty lame, actually. Tammie, come on. Keep up. And I think that'll about do it. As we settle here in Virgil's cave, we're going to figure out how to get this rad scorpion and bloat fly meat cooked, and figure out how he conjured a bed in here despite sleeping on, what is that, steel and tires? That's not comfortable. I guess that might be for a super mutant, but that there was the auto axe. Also, it doesn't work with classic holstered weapons. It's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. If you'd like to see this thing in your game, check out links in the description. It's been around for a while. I expect this thing to be out here on Xbox as well. It's a fairly light download as well, and it's a solid melee weapon, little bit of a callback to Fallout 3, so I think you'll enjoy it if you want to download this for a melee character. And it's definitely top tier in terms of how high it is on the level list. This thing just smashes out all of the other automatic melee weapons in the game, so maybe it'll give you an endgame boost that you need. If it can take on Gunner's Plaza of the immersive variety as comfortably as it did here, I think you're in pretty good shape when you use a weapon like this. And on that note, thank you very much for watching, guys.